obviously you're a church planter. You guys just celebrated 4 years.
4 years and a couple of weeks.
4 years and a couple of weeks, right before COVID.
Yes.
Which is the same as Rhythm Church, right
yes,
before COVID.
I don't recommend that at all. I don't recommend you like, yo, let's plant a church and then a pandemic comes and drop kicks you in the throat. I don't recommend that.
Yeah. And something interesting you said is that when we were talking offline, you said that as a pastor, you'd still prefer to be bivocational.
I would prefer to be bivocational.
Unpack that for me and why. Because most folks are like, I just want to, if it's not being a full-time artist, it's not starting a business, it's like, I want to be in full-time ministry. I just want to be in full-time ministry, right? But you're saying, no, there's something to having multiple vocations.
So I've been in ministry for 23 years. Mm-hmm. And there's been seasons where I was bivocational. Like even when we planted the church, here's my mentality. So when we planted the church, we had support, but I was still working 2 jobs. I was cleaning up WeWorks, like literally scrubbing floors, going to Clorox, WeWorks. Like I'm kind of old school in that, like whatever we got to do. And my wife is like, why you're working? Like we got support. I'm like, we gonna work. So that's always been a part of who I am. Even in seasons when I first got into ministry bivocational, I avoided getting paid by the church. One, out of fear, felt like the church was going to control me. So I was like, nah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's that old slave mentality. I was like, nah, I'm good. So even in seasons like right now, I'm in a place where like someone told me this. They said, whatever requires the most faith, do that. Right when we were planning church. And I was bivocational at the time. And I was asking, like, should I keep these jobs? Can I keep these things? And he was like, whatever requires the most faith, do that. And it liberated me for the first time where I was like, okay, I can fully trust God in this area of going into ministry. But I've always had, even if I don't get paid, there's always things that I'm doing outside of the church that add value. Or for instance, whether that's like, remodeling homes or working with athletes, there's all these other things that I feel like God has used as a platform. So the reason why I say bivocational, one, maybe it's just my pride, but sometimes I struggle just literally having my only income coming from the church. And I see throughout the narrative of scripture, and I'm always thinking like, how can I generate resources out the church? Because my goal is the church would not fund what I'm doing. There would be other resources so that I'm able to serve the church with complete freedom. That's my preference. And I think
is that what you said? That's kind of like a long-term goal?
That's probably a midterm goal.
Okay.
So for me, it's like now that I'm in a place where things are settled, I feel like I can work on more artist stuff.
Come on.
And I can start leveraging those things like writing books and putting more content and adding value to people to be able to generate income. At the same time, I don't want to lose my soul in that because I feel like I've seen people do that reverse. So that's the place that I'm at where I would want to start positioning my life to where I could see the resources really go to other things in the church. That's my goal, genuinely.
That's cool, man. I love that heart. I love that heart because I think so many folks, the only kind of equivalent for that's been there historically is like you got to write a book, and that's it, right? You got to go write a book and go do a speaking tour or hit the conference circuit.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with that, but like I think you're thinking of it a bit more creatively and specifically with the art.
I am thinking, and I've finally come to a place where I'm being able to own that there's always been a creative bias. There's always been an artist that wanted to be to do and make and create. I'm always looking for those type of things. And so whether that's like remodeling or whether that's painting or whether that's writing. So I think I'm at that place right now. And honestly, funny is because this is something I've been processing. And so I get to say it out loud. Like, yeah, how do I take the things that I'm creating and really market that and put that out there? Like if I do a painting, can I be a pastor that paints?
Sure.
And literally just be like, yo, this is something that I created. This is something that inspires me. And somebody want to buy it, then so be it.
Have you put any of your paintings up for sale yet?
No.
Why not?
I don't know, brother.
Come on, man. Send me something.
Well, that's what I say. Yeah, I'm out there. That's what I say.
We were just talking about how we need more art on the wall here.
That's what I say. As I'm doing this 40 Miracles run, I just did 2. I just did the water into wine. And that actually was a cool piece. So as I continue to put more pieces out there, and
you got pictures of any of them?
No, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, show here. I mean, like I want to see them offline.
Yeah, no, I'll show you. Yeah.
I'm not trying to like premiere exclusive.
No, I'll show you my most recent one. I'll show you my most recent one. Yeah, but that's what I say. It's like I'm in this reset season.
I love it.
Like the thing.
We're in similar places, man. I'll show you some of the music I've been working on. And it's just like something just happened. Like I think it's honestly for me, I think it was the Christmas break, right? We took a over a full week off. I don't know. We take 3-day weekends. We go 4 days on hard, 3 days off.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we had like a window where I felt like I took like 10 days off, like because our 3-day weekend and then like a full week, and then we came back, and I just kind of came back refreshed and reinvigorated.
You need that.
And all this like music gets deposited
You need that.
on me, you know. And so I'm like, man, this is, and it's fun, right? It's fun because I got to a place where I was doing music and it was cool, but it was a job.
It was a job.
And it was like, okay, I got to get this number of pre-orders. I got to go book this many shows.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You know, and then slowly, like by the grace of God, man, COVID happened. I got sunsetted for a season. My YouTube took off. I was able to hire Zach, then we were able to hire Chris.
Yeah, you're building.
And it just like is all kind of coming together.
There's something to be said by that, like about that there's like this tipping point where you are able to really give your undivided intention.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not attention, but like intention. Like there's this moment where the ecosystem of your life positions you to be able to focus in there. Like for me, it was like even recently, we've been remodeling our house for years. And we had this basement that was literally like an old drinking dungeon. Like it was like Ray Ray's Boom Boom Room. Like people just get wild with like pool and drinking.
Was it really a drinking
It
dungeon?
really wasn't
in your
drinking. It
basement?
was like my family's basement, and they play pool and drink and have a great time.
like a man cave.
Yeah, but everybody was there.
Not just men.
It was a cave. But it was always my goal. Like, man, we got to remodel this.
Yeah.
We got to fix this. And like, finally, like getting electrical, getting that stuff dialed, putting sheetrock, painting. Then I'm able to like put like the ecosystem was finally there to be able to like, now I have a space that I can just create. And then not only seeing me be able to create, my kids are spending more time like down there. Like Manny was just at the house, like kids are going down, they're painting. They're like, Dad, this is what I did. So it was almost like, man, this has been on reserve. And now I'm in a place where my kid, not like that's the beautiful thing. Like my kids are growing up knowing that they have the freedom to be able to explore and experiment like that. I love that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think having kids and then letting your kids experience the creativity with you. Like my son is trying to make beats right now.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And so like he has my MPD pads and he has my little MIDI controller set up in his desk. So you walk into his room and he got his little desk and he got this stuff. He's, he plugged it into Logic a couple times on his iPad and like kind of goofed around. But I'm like, bro, like you could actually play piano. Like you actually have some talent. You could figure this stuff out, you know? And so he's like, I don't know, you know?
But you're starting there. It's a different finish line for him.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about the stuff we're talking about, and I don't know if it's just like we're in similar seasons, but like you're talking about creativity, art, music, actually painting, but then there's a ministry component to it all.
Ministry takes most,
But then you're also doing like blue collar stuff that is just useful. Like you were working at the WeWork building and cleaning that, and then you're doing management of construction and renovating stuff. And it's like, usually folks in their 20s and 30s that are artists and artsy fartsy types have zero desire to like break a sweat and do something hard, you know? And so it's interesting to, and I don't know if it's, again, some of the seasons where you're like, these other sides of like have developed in you, but this was not, I don't remember creative people doing this sort of stuff when I was in my 20s.
And so for me, again, it all came because of like, we got to get this done.
Yeah.
So for me, a lot of times my personality is high achiever and what's the other one? Achiever and helper. That's like what makes me happy. So putting like points on the board, and if I can help you put points on the board, I'm in my like prime time. So when we bought our house, I did all the business stuff of it, and then was just an idiot and went in there and knocked down a wall that I wasn't supposed to, which then disqualified me for loan approval traditionally.
Jeez.
So then I'm like reverse engineering like how I'm gonna do it. So then I'm like, well, I did it. My wife's like, you better Negro, you better fix this. So that kind of started the blue collar, but I was always in like painting. Again, like I was commercial and residential painting and then painting art at the same time. So some of those blue collar like skills kind of popped up, but it had nothing to do with like renovating. It had everything to do with like fiscally, how can I get equity out of this home and I don't have any money at all. So again, relationally, I started asking people that have done it. So I have a great friend, James Bethia, check him out. He's killing the game, ex-NFL player, and is now like literally establishing homes in areas out in Reading.
That's dope.
So I was like, yo, James, I bought this house. I got to flip it. I'm an LLC.
Yeah.
We started this business. We didn't want to.
Yeah.
What do I do? He did a walkthrough with me. He was like, bro, if you finish this, it's a miracle, but you can do it. And so that became the catalyst.
So were you like the one literally doing all of the
I wasn't
adjustments?
doing all the work. So what I did is this.
You found the pieces.
Yeah, I was a project manager, and just to save money. And I'm like, man, we had no money. So then I had a contractor. I hired him. I worked alongside that contractor. Then I hired my friends. So Manny got hired. I hired one of our worship leaders. Who, this was like all during COVID, who wasn't working. And I was like, yo, I'll pay you and compensate you, but we're going to remodel this house. And through that, I learned so much from working with the city, pulling permits, not pulling permits, all of that structural engineer. Then a friend of mine said, hey, I want you to do it for me. And that was a whole like redeeming, tragic moment. She had lost her husband through some gun violence and all this kind of stuff. So again, like that one opportunity presented itself again. And I was like, this is service to him. And again, I was able to hire people, project manage, completely remodel their kitchen, all of that kind of stuff. And then when we got into the church, the exact same thing. Project managed floors, doors, all of that.
And
stuff.
interesting how that skill set came first from a need. You needed to get this house.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Then it evolved into serving someone else. And then it's come full circle to you utilizing that same skill set to get into a building, which is extremely difficult for a startup church to do right now.
And God, that's what's the thing. Like, God has been so faithful.
Hey, thank you so much for watching that video. Listen, I believe one of the best ways to build any business or any venture is to build your own online presence, specifically through the platform of YouTube. That's what we've been able to do. So if you would like to see a free training put together by our COO, Zach Sparazzo, on the #1 ingredient and the step needed to begin to build your own online platform, make sure to hit the pinned comment below and sign up for our weekly email list, where we'll get that to you right away, and I'll be sending you different emails about lessons I'm learning in real time, doing everything that we're doing here at Kingstream Entertainment. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.